Hey everyone, I'm the Recap Master. Today, I'll be recapping and explaining the 2024 American psychological criminal horror movie Longlegs. Sit back, relax, and beware. Spoilers ahead. The film begins in 1970s Oregon, amidst a cold winter. A young girl gazes out her window and notices a car parked on a nearby street. Intrigued, she ventures closer and hears a voice. Turning around, she encounters a pale, unsettling man who addresses her as the almost birthday girl. With a menacing air, he remarks, "It seems I wore my long legs today. What happens if I?" As he crouches down, the scene abruptly cuts to the movie title. The movie then gets divided in three parts. Part 1. His letters. 20 years later, in the 1990s, FBI agent Lee Harker is assigned to a case with her partner, Agent Fisk. While questioning a neighborhood about a suspect, Lee gets a premonition and identifies a specific house. She recommends calling for backup, but Fisk dismisses the idea. When Fisk knocks on the door, the suspect shoots him in the head. Reacting quickly, Lee storms into the house with her gun drawn and finds the suspect seated at the end of his bed, hands raised in surrender. The scene shifts to Lee undergoing a visual and perception test at headquarters. Later, she meets with her boss, Agent Carter, and Agent Browning. Carter, impressed by her keen perception, suspects she may have a psychic ability. He assigns her to a decades-long murder case spanning 30 years, where 10 families were slain by their fathers, who then committed suicide. At each crime scene, letters adorned with satanic symbols and cryptic codes were discovered, all signed Longlegs. Lee reviews the case with Carter and asks about the connection between the families. Carter reveals that all the families had daughters born on the 14th of a month. Immersed in her work, Lee loses track of time. Over dinner, she shares her findings with Carter, noting that aside from the letters, there's no evidence of Longlegs' existence. She speculates that he manipulates the families into carrying out the acts themselves. Later, Carter invites Lee to his home, where she meets his wife, Anna, and their daughter, Ruby. Ruby chats with Lee in her room and invites her to her upcoming birthday celebration. Lee retreats to her isolated cabin, bringing her work home. Struggling with insomnia, she calls her estranged mother, Ruth, with whom she shares a tense relationship. Suddenly, someone pounds on her door. Peering through the window, she spots a figure standing in the woods. Grabbing her courage, Lee steps outside to confront them but realizes too late that the figure has slipped inside her house. When she re-enters, the intruder is gone, leaving behind only an envelope addressed to her with explicit instructions: do not open until January 14th. Part 2. All of your things. Lee defies the warning and opens the envelope, discovering a birthday card from Longlegs. The card contains satanic coding similar to the letters Carter had shown her, along with a passage from the Book of Revelation, "I stood upon the sand of the sea." Deciphering the message, Lee uncovers a chilling threat to murder her mother, leaving her deeply shaken. She is interrupted by a call summoning her to Carter's office. Carter informs her of another Longlegs murder. Together, they investigate the crime scene, where yet again, the father was the perpetrator. As they search the home, they come across the decomposing body of one of the daughters. Back at the station, Lee dives into her investigation, referencing various books to uncover more clues. She presents her findings to Carter, theorizing that Longlegs operates on a calculated algorithm. Each murder occurred within 6 days of a daughter's birthday, all falling on the 14th of a month. Mapping the dates on a linear calendar reveals a triangular pattern, with one date conspicuously missing, believed to be the next time Longlegs will strike. She tells Carter about the Camera family case, where Carrie and, the daughter, was the sole survivor of her family's encounter with Longlegs. She escaped because she was at school when her father carried out the murders. To investigate further, Lee and Carter visit the Camera family farm and explore the barn where the murders occurred. Beneath the floorboards, they uncover a lifelike doll eerily resembling young Carrie, and they take the doll to a forensic expert who determines it was meticulously handcrafted by a skilled artisan. Inside the doll, they discover a mysterious metal ball functioning as its brain. When the examiner places a microphone near the ball, it emits static that triggers horrifying visions for Lee. Images of snakes and Longlegs with Carrie and The examiner also claims he faintly heard the doll whisper his ex-wife's name. Nearby, Longlegs, revealed as a grotesque figure with stringy hair, a bloated face, and chalk-white skin, visits a store for supplies. He attempts to unsettle the teenage clerk with strange behavior, but she dismisses him as just a local creep. Longlegs then returns to his home, ranting and screaming incoherently. Meanwhile, Carter and Lee visit Carrie and at the psychiatric ward, where she has resided since the murders. An officer informs them that Carrie was catatonic for nearly 20 years until a recent visitor inexplicably brought her out of her state. Reviewing the visitor log, they are shocked to find the name Lee Harker recorded. The officer admits they never checked the visitor's ID. Lee speaks to Carrie Ann, who describes a vision of her father killing a priest and then her mother. When asked about the recent visitor, Carrie Ann says she's waiting for him to come and do anything for him or the man downstairs, reference to Satan, even if it means killing Lee. She also claims not to remember any doll in her house, and claims that Lee doesn't remember it either. Carter becomes suspicious of Lee, mentioning her psychic ability, her birthday on the 14th, and the visitor log with her name. He reveals he's read her file and remembers a childhood encounter she had with Longlegs, which she seems to have forgotten. Lee visits her mother, Ruth, who seems obsessed with religion and constantly urges Lee to pray, though Lee admits she doesn't. Lee asks if Ruth remembers the encounter on her 9th birthday. Ruth tells Lee that she's fortunate to have grown up because of what Ruth did for her that day, but refuses to reveal the full story. Searching through old photos, Lee finds one of a mysterious man, a photo she took as a child, the same girl from the opening scene, capturing Longlegs when he visited her and Ruth. She recalls a fragment of the event, remembering how her mother intervened when Longlegs tried to speak to her, leading him to sing an eerie song about letting him in. Lee takes this new information to Carter. Using the snapshot, the FBI tracks down and captures Longlegs, who seems to be waiting for them on the road. He reveals his real name is Dale Ferdinand Cobble. In a chilling interrogation video, Cobble addresses Lee directly, singing "Happy Birthday" for her in an unsettling manner. While Browning believes the case is closed, Lee remains convinced that Cobble has multiple accomplices, much like the devil in the Book of Revelation. She insists that Cobble is the key to uncovering their identities. Lee enters the interrogation room to confront Longlegs and uncover the identities of his accomplices. He rants about serving the man downstairs, Satan, and suggests Lee ask her mother about anyone he may have worked with. He tells Lee that, like every other girl, she was given a choice of gift: either accept and be destroyed or bow down to the man downstairs, and her mother chose for her. Lee continues pressing him for answers about his accomplices and the man downstairs. In response, Longlegs cryptically urges her to ask her mother. He then says, "Hail Satan," and violently smashes his face into the table, leaving a gruesome, bloody mess before dying shockingly. Part 3. Birthday Girls. Carter admonishes Lee for losing control of Longlegs, telling her they will never uncover his accomplice. He also informs her that Carrie has jumped from the psych ward roof, adding another murder to Longlegs' list, which he committed alone. Carter storms off in frustration. Lee and Agent Browning visit Ruth's home to bring her in for questioning. Inside, Lee doesn't find her mother, but outside, Ruth suddenly appears behind Browning, shooting him in the head with a shotgun. Lee runs outside to confront Ruth, who now aims her gun at a doll resembling young Lee. Ruth calmly tells Lee that she knows Longlegs is caught. Lee tries to reassure her, saying Longlegs is dead. Ruth tells her that she is now free from his control as she shoots the doll's head off. This releases a puff of black smoke emerges from the back of Lee's head, and a similar smoke rises from the broken metal ball inside the doll's head. Lee then collapses, losing consciousness. Ruth's voice echoes as she tells Lee a chilling story. She reveals that Longlegs is a master craftsman of the devil, delivering satanic birthday dolls to chosen girls, each doll allowing Satan to enter the house and triggering the murders. One day, Longlegs visited Lee and gave her a doll, and Ruth begged him to spare both her and Lee when he returned that night to commit the killings. Since then, Ruth has been his accomplice, delivering dolls crafted to resemble the daughters of each family. These dolls contained satanic magic, which manipulated the fathers into carrying out the murders. Ruth would visit the homes disguised as a nun, claiming the dolls were gifts from the church. Ruth admits that Longlegs had been living in the Harker's basement, making him the man downstairs. She justifies her actions as a way to save Lee from dying and going to hell. The doll resembling Lee had been the psychic voice guiding her through the investigation all along. Lee wakes up in her childhood bedroom to find her mother gone. Hearing the phone ring, she answers it, and a creepy voice tells her that she's missing Ruby's birthday. In a panic, she rushes to the shed to find her mother's car and heads to Carter's house, frustrated and desperate. By the time Lee arrives, Ruth is already there with the doll resembling Ruby, and the entire family is in a trance. Lee tries to warn Carter, but he responds in an angry, abrasive manner, clearly under the doll's control. Ruth suggests they cut the cake, and Carter and Anna head to the kitchen. Ruth explains that all three of them must die. If not, Lee and Ruth will burn in hell forever. She claims she's doing this for Lee, so she will be allowed to grow up. Anna screams echo as she's stabbed to death. Lee desperately tries to get her mother to stop, but Ruth is determined to see the plan through. In a desperate move, Lee shoots Carter before he can reach Ruby. Ruth, filled with fury, stands to stab both Lee and Ruby, but Lee shoots her mother in the head. With no more bullets left, Lee attempts to destroy the doll but fails. She simply leaves the house with Ruby. The final scene shows Longlegs sitting in the interrogation room. He laughs tauntingly over his victory, ending with "Hail Satan" and blowing a kiss to the viewers. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it entertaining, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Your support means the world to me. For more such videos, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Until next time, take care and I'll see you in the next video.